The Mandarin was a struggle for me. I mean, and when I say struggle, I mean like sweating, because knowing Mandarin is one thing, learning it's another, and then trying to act with a language that you have no connection with. So it really playing the character and then having to do that helped me understand communication. I remember I was really freaking out, and Denis, I looked at him, I'm like, yeah, but da-da-da, and he was like, you must calm down. And I was like, he's like, you must trust me. This is the day they arrived.
The object touched down 40 minutes ago.
Mama, what's going to happen?
I don't know.
Dr. Banks, you're at the top of everyone's list when it comes to translations. You hear any words?
Is that?
Yes.
There's a book, a collection of stories that I bought off Amazon. 2 days later, it shows up, and I sit down, and I think, I'll just read one and set it aside. And then 5 hours later, I've went through half the book, and when I hit Story of Your Life, I had to put it down because I was so emotionally affected. I had to go around and hug my wife. You walk around the block, you just let it sit with you for a while. And then the next thought was, how can I share this with more people? I mean, I started giving out the book as a Christmas gift, but that wasn't enough. I wanted to lift the feeling that I got and put it into a movie.
I'm Colonel G.T. Weber from Army Intelligence. Pack your bags. You're at the top of everyone's list when it comes to translations. Priority 1, what do they want? Where are they from? You'll be reporting to me, but you'll be working with him when you're in the show.
That's what they call him, the UFO.
Eric came into our company, 21 Laps, and told us about the book. And I remember when we first came across that story, our second thought after how do we share this with the world was, this can't possibly be available. There's no way no one has found this jewel. So it was a long development process, but ultimately very much thanks to this filmmaker and this actress that the feeling, the soul, was communicable on screen.
When I read it, I came back to Shawn's partners and I said, it's beautiful, but I don't know how we can adapt that. A few months later, they came back with a screenplay written by Eric. And I really was impressed because Eric has been able to apply a cinematic structure to the short story in a very powerful way.
It's done. Yeah, that just happened.
I had actually just got off American Hustle. I was prepping Big Eyes. And I was like, I don't want to read anything. I'm really focused. I got to shed one character, get back into another. And everyone very smartly said, okay, don't read anything after you read this. There's just something about it. There was a tone about the script. You did such a great job developing this tone that was so beautiful and so sensitive and so intimate.
It's really rare that a movie is as rigorous intellectually as it is emotional. Denis has a really, really astute intellect, and the movie is filled with ideas, as was the story, but it's also profoundly emotional.
Dr. Banks? Are you insane?
Now that's a proper introduction.
There's a challenge for you in this film that is unlike any of the other stories you've told. How did you?
The biggest one was definitely to create a new life form. The dream became quickly a nightmare because to try to create something that will feel new, that will create an appropriate emotional response in the audience. I thought it was pretty tricky. It was again like the Alien, like a long process to find the right shape of the language. I wanted something that was far away from any kind of human language, and that it has the kind of feeling of evocation of a Rorschach drawing. Rorschach, thank you. And something that will feel like a bit nightmarish.
We need to make sure that they understand the difference between a weapon and a tool. Language is messy, and sometimes one can be both.
We came out 3 days after the election. Yeah. And I remember thinking to myself, and I wrote somewhere, now more than ever. The movie is championing connection, collaboration, and a trust in the other.
When it came out, my mom called me. I got a call from her, and she said, "Can you please send Amy Adams to Washington?"
I think she wants Louise to go to Washington. I'm not quite Louise.
Are you dreaming in their language? It's possible they're prodding us to fight among ourselves.
This is just a way to force us to work together for once.
It's more complicated than that.
How is it more complicated?
I think that's important for us all to realize, is the impact of our life goes far beyond our experience of ourselves. That's just important to remember in how we gauge our behavior and our choices. The thing that I personally took away was this line where she says it's the moments in between. It changed even the way that I parent in some ways, you know, taking more time, being more patient, spending more attention on the moments in between.
You are committing an act of treason.
Do you trust me?
I knew I'd get to wear Tom Ford.
I was gonna ask. Yes.
Me as styled by Tom Ford is like this idealized version of me that even today is not really me. Like, it's a fun place to get to visit.
I don't know how old your children are, but do they understand what you do for a living?
Yeah, they know what I do. They don't quite understand all the stuff you do after the movie. They sort of like, why do you keep talking about it? You know what I mean?